you ever fight for your life while you sitting in the court, putting niggas on the pavement, play the turf like it's a sport. Real eyes see the light in the midst of the darkest tribulations, affect the soul and make a young nigga heart that set us war. Took an L to the devil, but I'm even in the score. Can't afford to keep my bed or keep no company with whores. Game time, I don't wanna see my name shine. You can readjust your views, don't try to change mine. I'm still here when my best friends became my enemies, and my brother in the faith became kin to me. We know that paradise and hell really a condition while we melt in the flame refined. We on the mission, high exalted. You know we been trained for the war. We can't double back with us once you go and hit the door. Pain, Lord knows we don't play here. If you don't got love for brothers, then niggas stay there.
My name, try to stand and figure it out, but can't ignore my pain. Help a nigga out, but understand that rain. A nigga out for real, but I can't get it. My feelings now, try to stay in my lane. Try to stand and figure it out, but can't ignore my pain. Help a nigga out, but understand that rain. A nigga spout for real, but I can't get it. My feelings now.
They gon' laugh at you while they strike and shake your hand. The Father gave us pain cause he knows it make a man. We got next, you heard me, I said we got next. We never boast in ourselves, but in the Father we flex. I said you could choose to die or you could choose to live. Stand tall, even if that means that you could lose a rib. We leave it all on the altar while we pray and face the east. Cause a man that hold the word and persevere, that's a priest, fuck the feet. If they can't hearken, then dust your feet. The earth will be given into the hand of the meek, to the evil beast. No, we won't never ever bow down. The workman rightly dividing, can't put the plow down. We suffer now, God willing we the elect. In a world where somehow good men fall under rejects. Don't take a lot of shit to heart cause we carry precepts. Don't take a lot of shit to heart cause we carry precepts.
Try to stay in my lane, try to stand and figure it out, but can't ignore my pain. Help a nigga out, but understand that rain. A nigga out for real, but I can't get it. My feelings now, try to stay in my lane. Try to stand and figure it out, but can't ignore my pain. Help a nigga out, but understand that rain. A nigga spout for real, but I can't get it. My feelings now.
Said I'm not coming in peace, I'm coming with a sword. And we
God's gonna come with fire, man. That's what's coming to this place. Fire.
That's not happening about the various slave trades that established everyone else's economy.
This devil knows he has but a short time and he's shaking in his boots.
And this place has done evil that you can't imagine. And it is not just this place.
Because we in the midst of darkness. Right? So if you
eat consciously enough, you'll be aware of every single thing you put inside yourself.
This is Mark chapter 12, verse 29. YHWH answered them, the first of all commandments is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is the Lord. SHAMI, YASHARAHLA, AHLAHAYANAWA, ACHAAD.
waiting a little bit. Hopefully everybody's week been going well.
So today, hopefully, like I said, everybody's week is okay. Salam, Ganan. He said, "Can a brother get a salam back?" So yeah, we're going to be going into the dietary law and what we're permitted to eat. Okay. Now, there's been some discrepancy, right? Before I even get into that, you have Israelites who's been in this walk for some time, or just coming into this walk, and a lot of people deal with a lot of things. I remember a brother, a little bit ago, was saying to me, which I never thought of, because I'm like, who would struggle with that? But everybody comes in with different struggles, and somebody's struggle might not be marital issues. It might not be financial issues. They may be 90 to 80% obedient when it comes to this law, but they may struggle with abominations. Like that might be hard for somebody to give up swine, or to give up shrimp, crab, lobster. Like that might be an actual fight for somebody, despite everything that all the health issues that it causes. So and sometimes Israel, even being in this walk, sometimes we're like, can I eat this? Can I eat that? Is it okay to eat this? Is it okay to eat that? So that's one of the reasons why we're going into this. So hopefully, by the end of the lesson, it's clear. It's clear. Another thing that Israelites tend to argue over, what information you extract from who is just that. It's information that you extract. This right here is all the truth that you need. But there are experts out there who, for example, teach on psychology, who teach on exercise, who teach on martial arts, who teach on dieting, who teach on healing. But their word is not to be taken for 100% truth. Why? This is the 100% truth. Right? So you couple certain information, and you research and investigate certain information in order to expound upon different things in the scriptures. Okay? And I'm saying that because we Israelites nowadays, they argue and debate over doctrine is one of them, but they argue and debate over diet. And I think that the simplest way for people to understand diet is a lot of people go off of man, right? A lot of people go off of man. You're going to get both sides, right? And what I mean by that is, just because, for instance, somebody, a hero like Yaki, says you're supposed to do this, this, and that, which I'm going to debunk Yaki. But, and because he's showing results of healing, listen, the diet that you go on for healing is different than the one you live your life with. You're trying to remove a cancer. You're trying to remove a blood issue. You're trying to remove a cellular issue. You're trying to remove a mental disorder. You're trying to remove these things. So you have to put your body under certain stresses in order to extract or eradicate that disease. Now, can you eat to where your body's in a place where, it barely inhabits or it's uninhabitable for certain diseases, that's debatable. For instance, you don't just get parasites through vegetables and certain meats and things of that nature. You could get a parasite by walking barefooted on the ground. And the funny thing is, I encourage everybody to walk barefoot in the grass because you get charged by the earth. That's called earthing or grounding. This parasite you can even catch through air. So and then how you maintain and treat your body could, to a certain degree, 90% make it uninhabitable for parasites to live in, because parasites, they control the mind. They can make you crave food. They can make you crave fats. They can make you crave alcohol. They can make and then when you start to go do a cleanse, they can make you extra fearful and make you back down from doing a parasite cleanse. My rib, she recently read in an article that which you have to, it's a delicate matter when you're dealing with children. The doses that children take is not the same for adults, but she basically said the parasites knew that they was going to get eradicated out of this little girl's body. And so what they did, because remember, parasites are a living organism, they live off of you. They swarmed around her heart, and too much got in her heart, and then she actually died. So, but yet again, you can get parasites through a bunch of different things, right? So the point is, you want to make sure that you're following what the Most High says. For example, a lot of people say, and I'm going to go into it, a lot of people say, like Yaqui. I don't know if anybody knows why Yaqui, he's great for certain information, but I don't know if you understand why he stopped messing with Israelites. He explained it. He had a testimony. He came into the truth, and when they said, brother, it's a sin for you not to eat the lamb on the Passover, which it is, because he's so strong and so the scriptures tell you, which we're going to get today, he has his conscience seared with the hot iron, which means he's stubborn. There's nothing you can tell him about it, right? That he's not to eat meat. This brother fell out the truth. So, and granted, he has a lot of great works. He's been healing a lot of people, took people from stage 4 this, stage 4 that, and not even only that. There's old elder Benjamites that I've watched, different things. But one of the things that I want to say is that before we get into these scriptures and these videos, so I can prove what I'm saying, is that ultimately, when you go into diet, it's different for everybody. Diet is a very delicate thing, and it's geared differently for everybody. Will you get penalized for doing a non-carnivore diet? A carnivore diet? Or is it a sin? No, it's not. Is it a sin to be a vegan? No, it's not. But guess what? The scriptures give you warning or wisdom on what these things can lead to. Right? So when you look at the wisdom of the scriptures and the warnings of the scriptures, it all leads back to balance. You can swear up and down. You can throw 1,000 different articles on why it's important to do carnivore over veganism or plant-based. Why? But ultimately, the Lord basically told you to eat both. Is it a law for you to eat both? No. But what does it have? Psychological? Does it have physical? Does it have mental benefits when you have a proper balance? Yes, it is. You have people who are vegans and plant-based who are overweight. If it's so healthy to be vegan and plant-based, then why are you overweight? Why can't you get up and run 2 miles like it's nothing? And then people like I'm picking on Yaki, but people like Yaki want to talk about, oh, our digestive tract is similar to that of a herbivore and gorilla. Brother, the Lord gave us dominion over the animals. Mankind is not the same thing as any animal. You need to stop comparing our digestive tract and the way we eat to how animals eat, period. Because there's certain things that they'll say there's vitamin B, D, and protein and things of that nature in kale, in pomegranates, and this and that. But guess what? Your body doesn't absorb it like it does, for instance, from a bison. You know what I'm saying? From deer meat. You have to really do in-depth research. There's a reason why the Most High allowed you to eat meat and allowed you to also the understanding of herbs and detoxes and teas and things that vegetables and fruits, all these things. He gave it to us as a balance. And guess what you have to do? You have to figure out for yourself what things work good for you. For instance, you know, there's this female I put Barack onto when he did the vegetarian vegan class, and it's not even just a sister. It's this one sister. It's multiple people who's been vegans for years, who's finding out that they have a lack of nutrients. So they have a lack of nutrients in their system because they're not getting the things that they need from animal products, byproducts. Okay, like there was this lady, remember the one that was forcing it, she started getting like naked. Yeah. She was getting too crazy with like the freedom of life and stuff like that. But she had a powerful story. She was vegan for, I think it was over, like, it's either anywhere between 10 to 15 years. And she started getting malnourished. She started to see, you know, the side effects from being a vegan. And it's delicate with women because she had irregular periods. Her mood swings were getting worse and worse. It's just a bunch of things. She had lack of energy, which scriptures tell you the herbs make you weak, you know, so that's what it means by the herbs making you weak. You know, you need to be grounded, but at the same time be light. So and I've been a vegan. When I was a vegan, I was walking around at 165. Yo. I'm kidding. Oh, I was walking around at 165. Now I'm a powerful, strong brother. I can lift, I can move. You know what I'm saying? But I was weak when I was a vegan. You know, I wasn't getting the nutrients and things that I wasn't because I wasn't balanced. Right? I wasn't balanced. There's a wisdom that comes from when you understand the way that the Lord wants you to eat. Right? And there's a point in time when I was eating meat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That was too much for me. That's when I was like, I was 225. I got up to 225. I was eating meat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I was broken though. That's when I was like, real, you know what I'm saying? Like on my power. But you know, and I felt a little winded when I would walk the stairs and things like that. And so I need to dial it back, you know. And even the scriptures tell you what we're also going to get, and we're going to go into that. Too much meat, excess of meats leads to surfeiting and choler, which is indigestion, which can also lead to diseases, sicknesses, you know. So at the end of the day, all this is about is balance. Okay, it's about balance. You know, you have to figure out, okay, I know that I can't eat meat, you know, maybe I do 5 days on, 2 days on. So 5 days without meat, 2 days on every week. Or maybe I eat meat every other week, you know, and maybe I eat meat, you know, 3 days on, 4 days off. You know, however it works for you and your family. And another thing too, that You know, they have you when you're pregnant taking prenatals. They have you when you're pregnant taking prenatals. There's yet again the balance, right? There's benefits when you give your child not just fruits and vegetables growing up. There's certain byproducts that is needed. Like the lady, what I was telling you, she's so free, but she was a vegan for a long time. She started taking cow liver pills, and she said that affected her tremendously. But that's a byproduct of an animal. The cow liver has a lot of things in it that's easily digestible for us. But a lot of vegans or plant-based people say, oh, you can get it from this, you can get it from that, you can get it from that. Maybe. But certain things, like you can't outthink the Most High. You don't know. You have to go and discover. You can't say this man is right. You can't say that man is right. You have to prove why the Most High is right. And then you'll start to understand the way the dieting works. And then after you understand dieting works and food and nutrition, then you have to figure out your own identity when it comes to that. Y'all follow me so far? Right. And this says prenatal vitamins have been linked to postpartum depression. You know? So there's certain things that you have to go out and extract from both sides, right? There's certain things that you can go to. If you have a local farm, if there's, if you know, like clean butcher shops, you go to those places and get you the meat that you need. Bison is loaded with phosphate, the vitamin D, zinc, all these things. And the way your body breaks down certain things is pivotal to what you actually ingest and what your body benefits from. Like I know. Go ahead.
A lot of Israel suffers from fatty liver.
Right.
Absorbing that nutrient properly.
Right. A lot of Israel does suffer from fatty liver. A lot of people don't understand too. When you eat a lot of vegetables and fruit, well, not fruits is different, but when you eat a lot of vegetables and plant-based products, what ends up happening is your gallbladder is working overload to create what? Does anybody know? What does your gallbladder create? Bile. It creates bile in order for you to digest these greens. And a lot of times they yield a lot of gas. It's hard on the system. Like for me, if mustard greens are cooked, it's still hard on my system. And you're talking about a brother who does a lot of detoxes, who does a lot of colon cleanses, who does, what I'm saying? Who's constantly resetting his system to make sure that he's not ingesting and getting the benefits from the food that he's eating, but also to make sure that his body's clean. They say that you have at least 5, a lot of people have even 20 pounds of poop stuck in them. And that's backed up from both things. Because I know too, they don't even talk about this, is when your body is getting a lot of gas and flatulence or certain greens, it's hard for your body to digest. What is your digestive system close to? Like, what does it have a relationship with? All of your body, but what do people care about? Think of it. What do people care about? Huh? Yeah, so say it. The reproductive system. So on both sides, it's not just eating excess meats will cause indigestion, and no, you can have problems with digesting different greens in your body. You know what I'm saying? In different plant-based products. A lot of plant-based products have a lot of estrogen in it as well. And then men are getting guts, making it hard to reproduce. Women as well as women, because women have to clear out their genital areas too. It's causing ulcers in women. When you have ulcers, it's prohibiting women from reproducing. Even parasites. You get parasites not only from meats, but also from plant-based products and vegetables and fruits. They've done a study where they've grown strawberries in a field, and they've juiced the strawberries, and the strawberries had so much fertilizer in it, they was able to dump it back into the ground.
To your point too, because you're speaking on you spoke on estrogen. California ships out majority of all 50 states food, and it's predominantly Issachar and Israelite immigrants working those fields with the fertilizer. And a lot of it contains estrogen inside of it that not only is affecting and damaging your reproductive systems, like they're talking about low birth rates in the U.S. now. Men are more effeminate. Look at the state, of cancer and everything else like that. It's being shipped out from what they're putting inside the fertilizer in the fields in California to all 50 states. It's going to naturally affect them.
So, and you had something.
It goes off what Barack just said. It's like one of some other major foods that, especially that men eat, like spring and summer comes, what happens? We bring the grill out. That's why when we look at burgers, you can get what? Both plant-based or grass-fed burgers. I looked at the boxes, like I used to look at boxes heavy. Soy. It's everything.
Right.
Crazy.
Right.
Even chicken. Chicken has record high arsenic level. Arsenic is pretty well with chicken food.
Let's get Romans 14:2. It's just what I was saying earlier. It started leading, and a lot of people don't know, even veganism, there's been testimonies like this is the things that vegans and plant-based people don't want to talk about, but it led certain sisters and this testimony. I didn't put out videos on it, but having migraines because they're not getting certain things out of things. And it's everything that everybody already put on. You could get this from, kale, you could get it from, pomegranates, you could get it from spinach, you could get it from the mushrooms, you could get it from sweet potatoes, you could get it, but yet they're on everything you're trying to defend your diet with. These vegans have been doing for years, decades, but yet they're still malnourished. Their body's feeling weak. Go ahead.
And why do they try to make their food taste like meat?
Hey, yo. It's a fact. Like, yo, you try to reverse make mac and cheese. Right. Reverse make mac and cheese. They try to make oxtails with either tofu or certain mushrooms. Then you try to make jerk mushrooms. Like, come on, brother. Come on. Your body really wants meat. Right? But I'm not knocking plant-based, because there's days throughout the week where I do not eat any type of meat at all. I either go vegetarian, I either go straight plant-based. But I also have a balance, and I know that I incorporate certain meats, fishes. I usually tend to stay away from a lot of red meat. I treat red meat like a delicacy. But I found my balance in what works well for me. So like I said, it may be 3 days of meat a week, and then it may be 4 days of vegetarian and plant-based. That might be you. You might have to do every other day. You have to go out and do trial and error with your body, your mind. And you have to base a lot of things off of your mental clarity and your reproductive system. So men, how your erections go. Make sure your erections are solid. Females, same things. A lot of the way you eat, your stress, it contributes to how, you know, how I don't find the appropriate word, but like lubricated you could be, you know, and yeah, when it comes to the vagina and the walls and things of that nature, a lot of that also comes from, you know, a lot of that comes from what you eat and the balance. And a lot of women, it's a little bit way more delicate because like they have to do things too, not going on, because some women go far with the crystals and the witch and calculating the cycle, but there is some truth when it comes to that as far as the cycle goes, because understanding your cycle and what to eat. Like for instance, I learned, you know, sometimes my aunt should be having me watch certain things, you know, and I'll be peeping stuff. I'll be taking certain knowledge from things. So, but when it gets close to a woman's cycle, it's good for her to eat more fats and more carbohydrates, such as avocado, such as coconut oil, such as olive oil, such as sweet potatoes, you know, because her body is going to be making progesterone. If there's too much estrogen in the body, her period is going to be discomforting, or her period is going to be irregular. You want to help progesterone in the body because progesterone cuts out estrogen. Just like for us, testosterone is what cuts out estrogen. So you have to eat a certain way, you know, and then when it comes back, when you're off your cycle, you want to introduce back the proteins, the meats, the fishes, the things of that nature. So it you know, when it comes to women, they have to have a delicate balance. If they're too much on one side of meat, if they're too much up on the other side, it could throw their whole system out of whack. And remember, women are their superpower, you know what I'm saying, and their downfall is their emotional creatures. So their diet and what they intake, it affects them like extremely. You know, go ahead. What you want to say?
The downside to that, a lot of Israel also, a lot of us depressed eat. You know what I'm saying?
And stress.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
you said it better than how I said it.
No, I thought
stress eat. Definitely stress eat could cause a lot of hindrance. Quick, tighter movements and how they feel.
Right.
Yes, it's not a craving.
Right.
It's not a craving.
Right. That's a good point. You know? You know, so it's about balance. You know what I'm saying? It's about balance. So read that again.
Romans chapter 14 and verse 2. For one believeth that he may eat all things.
Right. So one believeth he can eat everything, you know, meats, vegetables, fruits. Right. Right.
Another who is weak eateth herbs.
Right. Another who is weak eateth herbs. Right. If you was to put if you had two versions of yourself, one that eats straight herbs and one that eats meat, everything, and you put each other in a boxing match, who you think is coming out on top? The person who's more grounded and more weighted. As a person, maybe the person who's more agile might be, you know, get more hits in, but as soon as that one hit touch, you're over. It's game over. Right? And then people's trying to find different ways, and scientists, I've looked at it all. I've looked at it all, because at a time it was hard for vegans to gain muscle. Right? They've came up with things like pea protein, and then you have this doctor, I forgot his name, but he's a black chemist. He's been on the scene for like a couple of years now.
Gadal? You talking about him?
He kind of speaks slow. He's tall, black brother, Judah, I think. You might be right. You might. I just don't know his name.
He's up and coming because he speaks on diet and health. So.
Yeah. So it's probably him. But he talks about now he's finding different ways to gain muscle. You have to do it a certain way. Why is it that complicated on a plant-based diet to gain muscle? Because that was a thing for a long time. You got to think about that. All right, so It's about balance. It's not about what man says. People say, "Oh, meat's bad." No, it's not. Because at that point, you're going against the Most High. Now, we just read the verse, right? One's weak, one is strong. But this is the thing: is it a sin to have eat an all-carnivore diet? No. Is it a sin to be a vegan? No. You're supposed to respect each other. It's not a sin. It's nothing that's unlawful about it. But this is the thing: there's wisdoms in the scriptures to let you know that this is why the Most High allowed for balance. And that's what I'm going to get before I even go into breaking down Leviticus 11. Right? And then a lot of brothers who are plant-based and things like that, their pride is going to start kicking in. You know, I've been a vegan for this amount of time. I've been a vegan for this. My family's good. You know, I would really double check. I would really double check. You know, because like I said in the beginning, you know, there's man's way, and then there's the Most High's way. And what would benefit everybody is if they investigated and searched out the Most High's way as opposed to man's way. And I got clips that show, you know, where plant-based diet came from. And they was doing this back in Romans times and Grecian times. We're going to find out why. You know, so Lord is all about balance as far as when it comes to your diet. Okay? Let's get Sirach 37 and 30. Quam, I said that already. Yeah, you do got to learn what's good for your body, but it's a balance. There's two sides of the spectrum. You know, the Lord allowed meats, the Lord allowed plant-based, right? You want to be somewhere in the middle. You want to be somewhere in the middle. Now, like I said, that could be different for everybody. I gave you a bunch of different scenarios. Some people may eat meat with dinner one time a day. Some people may eat meat every other day. Some people may eat meat 4 times a week, 3 times a week, 2 times a week, every other week. The point is, balance is going to benefit you the most when it comes to dieting. Not 100% meats, not 100% plant-based vegans. You're doing yourself a disservice. Nobody's above what the Most High instituted. If the Most High knows all and allowed us to have meats and plants and vegetables and fruits, I'm pretty sure the Creator of all knows what He's doing. Simple. You gotta think about it like that. It's that simple. Sirach 37 and 30.
Sirach chapter 37 and verse 30. For excess of meats.
For what?
For excess of meats.
This is for brothers who want to eat meat, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Like sometimes you gotta let your body relax, brother, sister. I know how bomb beef ribs taste. Man, I know how bomb the oxtail tastes, man. With some rice and peas. What?
Gravy,
you know?
Gravy on the cabbage.
With the gravy on the cabbage. you know, I know, man. You know, I get it. You gotta relax. You may do, you know, like I said, whatever works well for your body. You may do mangoes and watermelon in the morning. You know, and then you may be like, you know what? I'm gonna eat my meat portion at dinner time. That eliminates the lunch and the breakfast. You have people have bacon, egg, and cheese for breakfast. Then at lunchtime, they want to have a deli sandwich, or they want to go to Popeyes, or they want to go over here. Then for dinner, they want to have a nice quarter pound or pound steak. That's excess in meat, bro. Then it's just every single day. Go ahead.
Did you already go over how long it takes for red meat to get out of your digestive tract?
Nah, go ahead. You can say it. It takes about 24 to 48 hours. Right? But the flip side of that is when your body's because your body's breaking it down. And when your body's breaking it down, it's extracting nutrients. Even though that's a long time for your body to break something down, but it's still extracting nutrients inside of the body that goes to the bloodstream. You know, it takes a little longer process, but you know, it's still doing what it's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
To the point, like some people that are more plant-based, and maybe vegetarian, vegan, they'll argue that, and that's why they say like meat is cancerous and meat is this and that. We know it's not even just meat. Any food we consume, we know it's tainted with everything that they put on the list and everything that they don't put on the list.
Right.
Like I just figured out that Celsius, they're making and using sewage water. It's like, what are we not going to find out? What are we not going to find out that they're not using in the So my point is, like, to add to what you're saying, like they'll use that and not realize the wisdom in the scriptures. Like, that's man's understanding. Right. Like the excess of it is what leads to cancer and problems that they'll end up developing within their body.
Right. And then, go ahead.
I was gonna say real quick. I just found this out. When you go to any restaurant, and if you get anything fried, ask for oil, because I heard that they also like do French fries and bacon, like use the same oil for like pork. You can't have nothing.
Right. And then on top of that, like they've been finding out that that certain watermelons, even I love watermelons. Don't get it twisted. I eat watermelons daily, but watermelons have been exploding. Right? I think that was brought out last year. I think the general put it in the chat. That was either last year or 2 years ago. That watermelons was exploding, fizzing because of certain things that they was putting inside the watermelon. There's a scripture. There's a scripture, right? That you're not gonna. I'm paraphrasing it, but you're not gonna be saved through anything but the Most High. I forgot what the scripture is, but basically, the way you eat is not gonna save you. It's just not gonna save you. Oh, there's so much things in the meats, so I'm gonna go and be plant-based vegan. Oh, there's so much things in the parasites and stuff like that when it comes to plant-based vegan, you know, and carbs. I'm just gonna do the carnivore diet. Stop it. It's not gonna save you. You can eat the way your body needs to eat in order for you to sustain somewhat of a good health. But at the end of the day, you know, which we do in Rome, one thing that we teach is dieting, you know, proper nutrition. But ultimately, it's the Lord, YHWH, who's coming back for his people. You could just about say, you don't think that your enemy has tainted every little thing? Everything. Water, air, food, soil, everything. Clothes. He thought about everything. There's pork and car paint. Door handles. Come on. Your enemy is diabolical. So come on. So you have to be slightly foolish to think that by doing this type of diet, you know, it's gonna help and save you. No. Because ultimately it results back to the balance of what the Lord instituted in the first place. Does everybody understand? Is everybody with me so far? So excess meats leads to choler and surfeiting. That's indigestion, that's sickness, that's diseases. Right? So I'm getting the extreme end of both spectrums, the whole spectrum, right? You have plant-based and veganism all the way at the end. You have carnivore diet all the way at the end. Right? I'm proving how both of those are not good. The scriptures, it's not a sin, but the scriptures warn and give you wisdom on both and what they lead to. Right? 1 Timothy 4:1. This is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites. Yeah. Yeah. Because you really can't say nothing about this right here.
1 Timothy chapter 4, verse
It's
1.
really clear cut. All right, hold on. Let me get there with you, brother. Let me get there with you, brother. Hold on. I'm bugging? Yeah, all right, hold on. That's it. Yes, sir.
1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times.
Back then.
Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times.
In the time of Maccabees.
That in the latter times.
In the latter times. In these times. Go ahead.
Some shall depart from the faith.
Some shall depart from the faith. Why? Go ahead.
Giving heed to seducing spirits.
Giving heed to seducing spirits. Let's elaborate. Go ahead.
And doctrines of devils.
And doctrines of what?
And doctrines of devils.
What does a devil mean? Deceiver. Doctrines of deceivers. Hold on. That's not the meat of the matter. We're about to get it. Let's go.
Speaking lies and hypocrisy.
Speaking lies and hypocrisy. I said this before. It's okay to extract information from healers, dietitians, nutrition, dietitians, people who are nutritionists. There's the word. Martial artists. You have to find what works for you. Millionaires, billionaires, you know, information, and then guess what you have to do? Come back to what? This. You have to come back to this. Because the truth is in the Bible.
Right.
All those things aren't 100% true. What it allows you to do when you listen to a podcast, when you read a book, when you study, when you investigate, it allows you to understand more on what the Lord is trying to teach us and tell us, and the wisdoms and the dark sayings within the scriptures. That's the point for going to look up and research articles and looking up podcasts and videos to further understand what the Lord is trying to convey to us. Khan? So it says speaking lies and hypocrisy. So the reason why I said that is because I'll say it again. The diets that you heal on is not the same as that's going to sustain you. It's not. When you're healing from something, you're on complete detox. Body, cellular, everything. You're starving out your body. Usually what goes with when you're healing is some sort of fast. Now, everybody has different issues. They usually recommend people, for example, who have diabetes, not to go into a full water fast because they'll start to raise and lower their blood sugar on alarming levels. Right? So they usually say, you know, eat fruits, eat vegetables, but there's been diabetes. People who have diabetes who've been on a fruit fast, who've been on a vegetable fast, who's significantly through the roof have raised their blood sugar to the point where they were hospitalized and they couldn't continue in that diet. So what are you saying about plant-based and veganism and fruitarianism? You know what I'm saying? Like you have, everything is delicate. You can't just say this is gonna work and this is now the diet. No, you're teaching somebody the wrong thing. Right? Go ahead. And yeah, so it's not that's not the diet that's supposed to sustain you. That's a diet for healing specifically. The diet that's going to sustain you is trial and error. You have fruits. Guess what? All fruits don't work for everybody. All vegetables don't work for everybody. All meats don't work for everybody. Some people may not be able to eat steak, but they can eat bison. Some people may not be able to eat red meat, but they can eat chicken. Or they can eat turkey. Or they can eat fish from time to time. Some people, the greens might be harsh on their system. Trial and error, right? But everything is at your disposal in order for you to do so. That's what the Lord created it for, right? Go ahead.
Speaking lies and hypocrisy.
Speaking lies and hypocrisy.
Having their conscience seared with the hot iron.
And then some brothers and sisters in this camp having their conscience. I'm telling you, vegan is the way. I'm telling you, plant-based is the way. I'm telling you, carnivore diet is the way. Guess what, brother? It's not. Having your conscience seared with the hot iron, meaning you're not even, you're so convinced and so stubborn in what you're doing that you're not even open to the fact that the Lord made it so that way you have a balanced diet. You know, you wouldn't even hear that. Because whatever you heard and whatever you learned made sense to you way back then, you're not even open to hearing the fact that the Lord made it so that way it's balanced. You're balanced. You're not even investigating the Lord's way. Man took something and then it made sense to you, and now look at what's going on. Right? And then there was a study, I gotta find the video, but there was a video, this video was a long time ago, but when it came to veganism, and when it came to plant-based diets, and when it came to foods that were high in estrogen, believe it or not, when women, there's a study too, it was a brother who came out with the study. He was a scientist. I forgot if he was a chemist, forgot if he was a biologist, forgot what it was, or a dietitian. But when it came to the studies, because they didn't have a balanced diet, guess what was happening to male boys?
Didn't they become emotional or something?
Nope. Male boys, they were birthed, their penis shrunk.
Oh.
They were shrinking their penis. I gotta find the video. Might not. I know you're dealing with the kids right now. If you're listening, if you can find that video and drop it in the chat, that'll be on point. It's a video from a long time ago. It's like literally over 10 years ago.
They probably took it down.
Probably, you know. And they've done studies on why, you know, Asians, you know, majority of Asians have certain type of penises and stuff like that because of how their diets and they're heavy in soy and stuff. Yeah, it was a study, but then they did the contrast when a woman has a balanced diet and they're giving the baby everything that it needs as far as, you know, meats, fruits, vegetables, that they had a regular, you know, size, you know, penis, the penis that a baby's supposed to have. You know, so that's another thing. Well, go ahead.
Verse 3, forbidding to marry.
Forbidding to marry. So that, you know, that right there, it's gonna come a different time. But forbidding to marry, you know, I'm not gonna touch on that. But just keep going.
Forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain.
Hold on. Commanding to what?
And commanding to abstain from meats.
So in the latter times, in the end times, right? They were going to teach doctrines of devils. They're telling you right here what the doctrines of devils is. Forbidding to marry, right? Which that class will come at a later time. And to abstain from meats. And these are some of the things that will take the people out of the truth. I just told you, Yaki, he left the truth because he found out that it was a sin. It was mandatory for you to eat lamb on the Passover. You have to. It's in the law. He left because of that. There's no way around it. Commanding in the latter times that they will be teaching doctrines of devils. Yo, be a fruitarian. Yo, be a plant-based diet. Yo, carnivore-only diet. That's not what the Lord gave us. He gave you a balanced diet. The Lord knows your body better than you do. He knows what's going to sustain it better than you do. The only thing you have to do is investigate his way And not only that, but see what works well for your body, trial and error. As long as you stay with a balanced diet. There's no way around that. You cannot get around that. In these times, they'll be teaching doctrines of deceivers, doctrines of devils. To abstain from meat, I'm sorry, buddy. That's a cut. Y'all know Shema don't even say that. Right? Let's get Sirach 33 and 14.
Sirach chapter 33 and verse 14. Good is set against evil, and life against death.
Right, so so good is set against evil, right? That's two what? End of the spectrum. Good is set against evil, go ahead.
And life against death.
And life against death, go ahead.
So is the godly against the sinner.
So is the godly against the sinner, go ahead.
And the sinner against the godly.
And the sinner against the godly. Now, while we go here, watch verse 15. Go ahead.
Verse 15. So look upon all the works.
Hold on. So look upon, this is what I was saying. All the works. All the works of what? All the works of the Most High. Look upon all the works of the Most High. Go ahead.
So look upon all the works of the Most High. And there are 2 and 2.
There are 2 and 2. People want to eat excess meats, carnivore diets. People want to do plant-based, right? Go ahead.
And there are 2 and 2, one against another.
One against the other. And that's what you see. When really, it's supposed to be together.
Right.
It's supposed to be together. Now, so that was the pre. Dang, it took a minute to go with that. And now I'm going into Leviticus 11. Salaki. I just wanted to get that out there, before, because I know brothers and sisters, especially in the body as well, they have a hard time. But you just gotta investigate the way of the Lord, and understand it will be revealed to you. Go from there. But yet again, nobody's knocking, nobody's coming at. But there's a higher wisdom when it comes to dieting and balance and what you need for your body. If you follow what the Lord is saying, if you adhere to the warnings of the scriptures on why this is happening to people who eat meat, and why is this happening to people who eat who's plant-based and vegan, and you understand truly what the Lord is getting out. The Lord, it says 2 and 2. One, the Lord said set one against another. Just investigate that. There's no harm in it. Be open to that. And this is just real quick. Let me show y'all so y'all won't think that. But yeah, I'm getting ready to send you some links real fast. I want you to play them. It don't matter the order. Hopefully it sends. I'm gonna show y'all actually. So y'all won't see. Okay, all right. Yep.
Could you being a martial artist, right? Mm-hmm. Could you correlate this to the whole weightlifting versus calisthenics?
I wanted to say that so bad because you can use and do both, bro.
Right, but
you mind playing it? What I sent you? Go ahead, though.
No, I just want to get your insight on.
Nah, you should. You should definitely lift weights and practice calisthenics as well.
Why though?
Because if you just lift weights, it's not real strength. It's not real strength. Real strength comes from calisthenics and weight training. You know, calisthenics maintains. You really get your strength from doing pull-ups, from doing pistol squats, from doing wall sits, from standing in a horse stance. When your body becomes strong through body mechanics and calisthenics, push-ups, you know, pull-ups, muscle-ups, working on your back, your lats, your triceps, you know. But power, you know, and bone density and, you know, testosterone is beneficial when it comes to weightlifting. So what you want to do is couple the both, is bring both of them together. There's a lot of things that people who are calisthenics only are missing from weightlifting. And there's a lot of things that people who are weightlifting are missing from calisthenics. I go to the gym all the time. I don't see nobody doing pull-ups. I don't see nobody doing push-ups. I don't see nobody doing leg workouts with no weight. Right. Me and Mahaya was in the gym. Me and Officer Mahaya was in the gym, and we was doing legs. You know, little legs is going crazy. But we decided to do lunges with no weights.
Drop the tires.
Huh?
Drop the tires.
No, not that day. Yeah. But flipping tires is good as well. So it's about coupling things together to get you the best benefit. Back then, right? How much do you think swords weigh? 20 pounds. Can you take a dumbbell and go like that? I can. Can you? can you take a, you know, 10 pounds? You know, each samurai sword was big swords. People had shields. You have to lift up a shield. And the Spartan Spartan military method way of tactical battle, you have to carry your shield up to a certain point to shield from to shield and protect not only yourself but the man to your left and to your right. That's weightlifting.
That's a lot of weight.
Right. Right. All right here. Shoulders. You know.
That's what people don't get, because weightlifting, the people that do calisthenics, they argue it's the same doctrinal differences with veganism and people that eat meat. Like, it's the same argument. It's like there's benefits to both.
That's why I brought it up. That's why I play devil's advocate. You know, I'm sure.
You know, so it's both, right? And that's the duality, right? And you see the duality in everything. You see the lion who's ferocious, who goes and hunts, stalks his prey, and then devours the prey. Then you see the cow, or you see the lamb, or you see the gazelle, just chilling, peaceful, right? Eating grass. So you see the duality of the Lord's creation.
You gotta be a wildebeest.
You know, you have to be in balance. Wildebeest. Right? You have to understand the balance of things. Right? Go ahead, you can play those videos out. This is the videos for veggie videos, I'm gonna call them. Veggie videos. Go ahead, if you could blow that up. Exactly, Ganan. Yup, Kawan, weighted calisthenics, same thing. Wait.
White-cap mushrooms had over 100 known carcinogens, but also spinach, kale, lettuce, celery, cabbage.
Hold on, pause it real fast.
Literally, white-cap mushroom.
And then another thing during the pandemic, you've seen a lot of people who's in the gym shrivel up, their muscles shriveled up. But guess what you didn't see? People who marry both calisthenics and weightlifting, their muscles stayed intact. Why? Because that's what calisthenics does. It builds strength. It builds your body up.
Don't you keep that?
Huh?
When you do like push-ups and stuff, like you get to keep it like.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Because I heard like people that like do just bells and stuff. it don't.
If you don't marry and complement them both together, then you'll definitely lose.
He said, I'm back. So, you didn't get into the breakdown yet.
That's a good class.
Nah, because I'm just getting sick and tired of people doing both. I mean, talk stress. I've been seeing it for years. Like, carnivore only diet, vegan, plant-based. Like, yo, I've done both. I did both diets. I did both. All right, go ahead.
Whitecap mushrooms had over 100 known carcinogens, but also spinach, kale, lettuce, celery, cabbage, cucumber, broccoli, literally given pages and pages of every plant that you've ever come across in the grocery store. And not a single one had less than 60 known human carcinogens in them. And I remember thinking in my head, I'm like, well, but vegetables are still good for you though, right? Our professor must have just read our minds. He looked at us like, you guys aren't getting this. And he just said, I don't eat salads. I don't eat vegetables. I don't let my kids eat vegetables. Plants are trying to kill you. I was like, right, forget plants. And I just stopped. And you go to the grocery store, everything either is plants or has plants in the ingredients. And I just walked around and I just came across just eggs and meat. I'm like, okay, well, you just eat eggs and meat. And that's what I did for a number of years and had massive health benefits. I was playing professional rugby while in university, and my athletic performance, as well as just my physical health, just increased dramatically. It was just night and day. Whitecap mushrooms had over 100 known
put it in the chat, in the YouTube chat. Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Alpha.
But also spinach, kale, lettuce, celery, cabbage, cucumber, broccoli, literally given pages and pages of every plant that you've ever come across in the grocery store. And not a single one had less than 60 known human carcinogens in them. And I remember thinking in my head, I'm like, well, but vegetables are still good for you though, right? Our professor must have just read our minds. He looked at us like, you guys aren't getting this. And he just said, I don't eat salads.
Pause that real fast. So this is the thing. Veggies, right? Plant-based. It's letting you know. Edomite brought it out. Science, right? Professors. It's over 60 known carcinogens in plants, vegetables that we eat, kale, cucumbers, etc. You just said it. Do I still eat those things? Heck yeah. Dieting is not going to save you. The Lord is. Okay? But I just want to show y'all the ends of each spectrum of why it's important to have a balanced diet. Not to be swayed all the way to the left or to the right. But if you are, hey, that's you. Play the next one. Carcinogens lead to cancer. And there's over 60.
These people have a massive multi-trillion-dollar vested interest in keeping plant-based movement going every single
Hold on, pause it. The government has a multi-billion-dollar investment in keeping the plant-based movement going. You don't find a coincidence that all these people started coming out talking about plant-based all of a sudden?
And then fast food pushes it. Yeah.
What's the burger they call it? The
Impossible burger?
Impossible or something like that? Yeah.
Oh, Beyond Burger?
Go ahead, play it. It says the Romans. Go ahead, play it.
The Romans would keep the plebeians and the peasants on plant-based diets to keep them sick and suppressed and under control.
Pause it. The Romans would keep the peasants on plant-based diets to keep them sick. The Romans. This is nothing new. The the same things that they try to deceive you with and break you down with are the same things they're trying to deceive you with and break you down with right now. Go ahead.
Did you bring up earlier, because I came like 10, 15 minutes late, did you bring up how there's no cholesterol found in plants and your brain is a fatty tissue that needs cholesterol?
But then, you know, plant-based people will say, oh, you can get it from this, you can get it from that.
What, fish oil?
Supplement, whatever. I've done the whole thing. But that's true. That's true. Right? Go ahead.
Control. The British did this. You were the common people were on the commons. They were growing wheat. They were growing grains, and that's what they were able to eat. They weren't allowed to hunt. That was the king's woods. Those were the king's deers. Those were the king's pheasants, the king's rabbits, and things like that. You could get killed for poaching. It was the nobility and the aristocracy.
So that's what they would do. They would give, even they said in Britain, they would do that. They would only allow the peasants to grow wheats, to grow different vegetables and things of that nature, and they would have to only eat that. They couldn't couple that or equip that with meats to get themselves a full range and balanced diet. That's what continued to spread diseases throughout the society. That's what kept them weak, suppressed, docile. Because what you just said, the brain is a what? Fatty tissue, highly cholesterol tissue. When you're eating those things, it's not doing anything for your brain. Right?
Chia seeds, that's estrogenic though. You don't believe it, look it up.
No, I'm not. I know.
You could say nuts have a lot of healthy fats, but there's also molds.
Yeah, I've heard all of that. I've done, yes. I was at one point in time, I was a vegan. I said the same thing for hemp seeds. I said chia seeds. I said all of that. I said all of that. Some of those things are estrogenic, like Shaquat said. But another thing too is that this is the point. You listen, right? I'm bringing out this is evidence. You can investigate this yourself, right? The point of why I'm bringing this out is because in scriptures, the Lord gives you two sides. The best thing for you is to be balanced. That's what's best for your body is all I'm getting at. Balance. But I'm not knocking nobody for being straight vegans and plant-based, but I'm going to give you the warnings. That's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you the warnings. I'm going to give you the other sides that people don't talk about. You are missing something from your diet. Same thing with people who eat meat. You are missing something from your diet. That's the point. That's the point that I'm making.
Right.
You know? Yeah, same thing I was doing porn, yeah. But the point is, even when that was my argument, when I was a vegan, but no, your body, the Lord knows, like I just said, I don't want to reiterate, but the Lord knows what's better for you. You may say, let's say in kale, it has the same nutrients as, let's say, bison, right? But bison may be better on your system than kale. It may work out like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. The kale, whenever any vegetable enters your system or any fats enter your system, it has to create bile. Bile is not needed to break down meats. In fact, a lot of times they tell you to either break your fast with either a meat or a fruit, because fruit goes directly into your bloodstream. It bypasses the bile process of the digestive system. In meats, when you eat meat, it's protein. And if you have clean meats, you know what I'm saying, if you have, somewhat type of healthy butcher shop or whatever, grass fed, because even they're tainted the grass now, but there's certain people who staying away clear from that. There's a lot of local farms in Springfield. I've asked questions, so there's still people who stay in truth, local farms, local people who raise cows, raise lamb, raised, stuff like that. There's certain local shops that still stay true, but the point is the balanced diet. You know, there's certain things that are better on your system. Because that was my argument too when I was a vegan. Oh, this is bad. Oh, look what they're doing. Da, da, da. Well, I wasn't really too much of like the animal cruelty person, but I was like, this is that. But my eyes opened is what I'm trying to get you to understand. My conscience was seared with the hot iron. There's nothing that you can tell me about being a vegan or eating plant-based at the time. But when my eyes opened, I started to understand the balance, the duality. That's why we went to Sirach and we 2 and 2. The Lord put one against the other. Is it a sin to be on a carnivore diet? No. Is it a sin to be plant-based vegan? No. But guess what? You're missing something from both. You're not getting everything you need as a human being to fully sustain yourself in this world, being on one end of the spectrum or the other. But you are if you're balanced. You just have to figure out what works well for you. That's all. That's the point that I'm getting out. No. But like I said, you are missing stuff if you're strictly plant-based. You are missing stuff if you're strictly carnivore. That's just the fact of the matter. And on top of that, it tells you that they're going to be giving heed to seducing spirits and then teaching doctrines of devils. Then it says one of those things is abstaining from meats. So if doctrines of devils, of deceivers, is abstaining from meats, what does that tell you that you shouldn't be doing?
Lord don't miss.
You don't miss.
Lord never miss.
The Lord don't miss. You should not be abstaining from meats. But hey, if you do it, that's on you. You're not going to get penalized for it. Maybe, mentally, maybe physically, maybe psychologically, yeah. But is it a sin? No. It tells you right there, abstaining from meats. There's no way around that. Sorry. And even it tells you, for people who want to talk about meat all day, it tells you excess meat causes what? Colic. It tells you the one who eats the herb is weak. You have to listen to these wisdoms. You have to listen to these warnings, and then open up your mind and see what works best for you.
Even the Lord warned about the meat of the word. There's one that has to go back and honor the sincere milk.
They're right. So, let's get to this Leviticus 11. I might do a part 2 of Leviticus. Actually, not. Dang, I'm tripping. Yo, did you play the other video? Nah, keep playing the video. I'm just gonna keep going on this. I know I'm gonna put down right.
Allowed to eat meat, everyone else wasn't. In ancient Rome, when the plebs would get uppity and start to looking like they were going to revolt, they say they start handing out free bread and start putting on circuses. Bread and circuses, just feed people junk food and distract them. But the other side of that coin that they don't tell you is they cut off the meat supply to Rome. They say cut off meat so people couldn't get meat, but they give out free bread. So they're like, oh, okay. And then they go watch the circus, right? And so it just kept them docile, kept them low energy, kept their brains numb. These people have a...
See? So you see that? They cut off the meat supply to Rome to keep the people docile, and they just gave out free bread. Because they knew, they understood. It's about a balance. I'm going to keep stressing that. It's about a balance. Right? Play the other video? Yup, that one right there. I'm going to send you the meat ones too. I'm not saying pause neither.
People that were born here, they're like, Blaze, you're crazy. I was in Italy for a month. I ate gluten every single day. Pasta, pizza, meatballs, the whole 9 yards. I lost weight. I didn't gain a pound. When I'm here and I'm eating gluten, I feel depressed. I can instantly...
The wheat that we use in America is illegal in almost...
Pause it.
Now, when I talk to people, they're born here.
He said the wheat that we use in America is illegal in other countries. He said he went to Italy. He ate pasta, he ate bread, he ate meatballs, and he lost weight. He lost weight in Italy.
They have 5-course meals on a regular.
Right. So it lets you know what's going on in America It's terrible.
I heard like
the things that they're putting in the food is terrible for your body on either side of the spectrum. So you eating trying to save your life is not happening, bro. Go ahead.
Like I heard like certain like name brand products like Hanes, you know, like the ketchup and stuff. You know about that?
Certain cereal brands, certain oil brands, especially UK and other countries.
Heinz, yes. Heinz.
I know that.
Heinz.
It's all right.
Heinz, like I heard like in Europe and stuff, it's not as toxic as America. Like these known brands over here, they're not as non-toxic.
Yeah. They don't use the contaminants and preservatives that America does here, and they don't take those exports that America could ship over there into their own countries.
He said what? Because you said the beef balls. Nope, I'm not saying it. Go ahead though. Play the other videos.
Here, they're like Blaze.
The other ones. I just sent them to you. Right. Slay that.
He's a famous surgeon. He's probably the most popular. Sean Baker. He's a famous surgeon. He's probably the most popular doctor that's promoting the carnivore diet. He was on podcast. His whole thing is that.
Can y'all hear that? Go ahead. Replay it. Start from the beginning.
Sean Baker, he's a famous surgeon. He's probably the most popular doctor that's promoting the carnivore diet. And he went on Joe Rogan's podcast. And his whole thing was that animal products are unjustly demonized. Beef, chicken, fish, eggs. These are the most nutrient-dense products we can put into our system. And they're also the most bioavailable, which means your body can actually utilize it.
Utilize it.
Protein powders, you're not really processing it. It's like you're drinking it, but you're kind of just spitting it out, for lack of a better term. A lot of vegetables.
Pause it. Your body utilizes the things that are nutrient dense. These are the meats. The Lord knew what he was doing when he allowed you to eat these things. Also eggs, byproducts of these animals. Cow's milk. There was a whole ban. They wanted people to pasteurize cow's milk and put mucuses and stuff like that. But real, authentic, raw cow's milk, number one, it tastes good. Two, it's extremely nutritious for your body. Right? But right now, they're trying to, demonize it. Right? Go ahead.
Things like that. It's actually meat and animal products that should be the focal point of your diet. Sean Baker, he's a famous surgeon. He's probably the...
Now, I will say that Edom has a different body than us. You know, 2 different nations was in thy womb, right? And then when he came and asked and begged Jacob for the pottage, what was it? It was raw. It was rare and uncooked, right? So a carnivore diet would probably sustain Edom, but not Israel. Right? Our genetic makeups, even though we're in the same womb, are 2 totally separate different things. Right? Go ahead. Play that.
Okay, so this carnivore literally just had steak all day long, I think with some butter, some salt, maybe a bit of cheese in there, and then maybe some milk. Not sure how you wouldn't get bored as fuck of that. I think an occasional beef meal is fine, but this is not a sustainable diet. Definitely not for the environment, but also not great for your health. Folks, variety's the spice of life.
I've been doing the carnivore diet since December 2017. It's 100% sustainable, and most people on it aren't on it for fun. Yeah, variety is the spice of life, not if it causes you autoimmunity or severe depression. Then variety is not the spice of life. And everyone who's commenting on the carnivore diet, I would like them to try it for 3 months before being the dietitian versus carnivore. Like, what do dietitians teach people? To follow the food pyramid, which has just made everybody in America fat. Don't go to a dietitian unless you want to follow the food pyramid and get fat.
Okay, so this carnivore literally just had...
So these are people who are promoting, the carnivore diet. You know, it works. Things of that nature. No, it tells you excess meat leads to what? Choler and surfeiting, indigestion, diseases. And And the Lord is about keeping things simple. Why would you have to eat 2 times more to sustain on a plant-based diet? That doesn't make sense. Really, you're supposed to be eating to 80%. You're not supposed to be full off any diet. You're really supposed to be eating to 80. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm going to say, if you're on a carnivore strictly diet or vegan plant-based diet, you're missing things that's for you. You're missing. You cannot escape that fact. You cannot escape that fact. The Lord created meats, vegetables, fruits, herbs, plants for you to have in abundance, and then figure out what works for you. Not figure out what works for you on a plant-based vegan diet. If you're doing that, that's your choice. Just know that you're missing a whole other side of the spectrum. If you're doing that with meats and you're missing the benefits of fruits, the benefits of vegetables, the benefits of herbs, the benefits of mushrooms, you're missing things too. So I'm not coming at veganism and meat. I'm coming at both, because why? It's a balance in what the Most High says. That's when you know what works well for you. Not being on one end of the spectrum, another end of the spectrum. The Lord created it so that way it's a balance. That's what I'm getting at. That's when you figure out what works well for you. Go ahead, bring out what you said.
Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 1. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord.
Read that again.
A false balance is an abomination to the Lord.
It's an abomination to the Most High. But guess what? Plant-based veganism isn't a sin, but it did forewarn you in the latter times that doctrines of devils is going to be teaching it. And then I just showed you how they was doing the same thing in Rome and Britain.
Right.
There's no coincidence. And then excess of meats. A lot of people, don't get it twisted. Meats, eating too much meats, it leads to indigestion. It leads to cancers. It leads to different. Red meats have been definitely prone to lead you with different blood pressures, cancers, things of that nature. Colon, not being able to digest your food. You're missing things on both ends of the spectrum. There's no way around that. There's no way around that. It doesn't make sense. But nobody's gonna say anything. I'm saying it right now because I'm doing this class. I want everybody to understand and be warned and have full total understanding. You're on one side of the spectrum, that's you if you decide to do that. Know for a fact you're missing things. You're on the other side. Know for a fact that you're missing things. But when you bring them together, just like weights and calisthenics,
right?
Just like martial arts and weightlifting, or whatever the case may be, you got to bring things together. There's a duality. Right? One's not better than the other. You have to figure out how to mesh both of them in your life together, because the Lord knows better than anybody. Man, He's the creator of all. Investigate His way. Huh?
No.
Right? Let's get to Leviticus 11. Yeah. Verse 1.
Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatsoever parteth the hoof, and is cloven footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat.
So, whatsoever parteth the hoof, so a hoof has to be parted and cloven footed like that. Okay, what's the camera? Right here, boom. That's how it looks. Okay? Cloven footed and part of the hoof. Right? That's your goats, that's your lambs, and it says chew the cud. I'll play the video that I sent you on chewing the cud. And I'm gonna send you an article as well. It literally takes, I believe it's 16 hours, right? It's up to 16 hours. And really what that means is that the animal, it chews. And that's another thing, because they have the bodies to break down vegetables and fruits and things of that nature. So anyways, right. So they can bypass certain things that like there's lectin in certain vegetables and fruits and things that not fruits and vegetables because plants don't want you eating them. But they're able to break down those things and we're able to eat them and benefit from them. But anyway, so chewing the cud is when the animal chews for a while, it swallows the grass. Let's just say cow the grass. It swallows the grass and then it comes back up for them to chew it again. Regurgitates, and this process could take up to 16 hours. 16 hours. Yeah, just chew it. It took up to 16 hours, right? So any animal that's part of the hoof, right, cloven-footed, and that cheweth the cud, that's what that means, right? Regurgitates in order to digest. Oh, that's crazy. You got you have the multiple stomachs, but that's debatable. I'll just look into that. But go ahead. Play that.
Bond.
This is the Fair Use and Copyright Act. Copyright law states that fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, or research, is not an infringement of copyright.
At the heart of this bond is the remarkable biology of the cow. A cow can eat pretty much anything and miraculously transform it into milk, meat, and a whole range of other products that sustain our daily lives.
The key to the cow's success lies here, the rumen. It's the belief of every school child that the cow has 4 stomachs. That's not really true. What it has is one true stomach, the abomasum, which is exactly the same as our stomach. Upstream of that is a multi-compartmental fermentation vat, fermentation chamber, wherein live the microbes. Now, when the cow goes out to graze, she eats the grass really as quickly as possible and swallows it almost unchanged. That comes into the rumen, and at that point, it's really quite difficult for the microbes to penetrate through the cell wall and start the chemical digestion of plant fiber. So what the cow has also evolved is this really elegant mechanism of rumination. In this, she moves the food round in the rumen, and then a bolus of food is regurgitated, passes up to the mouth, and then she takes it in her mouth and chews it rather as old cowboys would chew tobacco, 20 chews on one side, 20 chews on the other. This breaks it up, and it comes back down again into the rumen. The microbes, having done their work, then are passed out of the fermentation chamber into the abomasum, where they heroically die and give up their lives to provide protein for the cow to produce milk and meat for ourselves.
So that's the process. We're going to read. I just sent you the article so to break down the explanation of why do cows chew their cud. This is any animal that's cloven-footed, right? Cloven-footed, part of the hoof, that chew their cud is clean to eat. It's clean to eat. Yet the Most High says it's clean to eat. The Most High said it. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat. Which ye shall eat. These are the beasts. This is the Most High saying this.
Say it one more time, man.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron. The Most High, Yahweh, spake to Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all beasts that are on the earth. That ye shall eat. That you are to eat. Just like just like we have to investigate, which I got a brief video on it, but we have to investigate why it's unlawful for you to eat swine. At first, people were just saying you shouldn't eat swine. Just like it's in the law that you shouldn't eat swine, and then when you go to investigate, you start to see, dang, swine is really bad. The Lord is telling you that ye shall eat these beasts that are clean. Why don't you go investigate why? The Lord is telling you that herbs and fruit and after the seed of its kind, you should eat for food. Well, why don't you go investigate that? The person who want to do carnivore only, investigate that. And then when you investigate that, bring them all together and sustain your life the way you're supposed to sustain your life. Huh? Right. Yeah. No. Oh yeah. Let's read this real fast. The article. Yo, you want to go?
I like how you said the investigate part. I think that the investigate. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think that when Captain Shamak said the investigating, I think that should be highlighted because a lot of us don't do our research when it comes to the beneficial practices of eating fruits, of eating meats and veggies. A lot of times we just stay away from meat and we just stick to veggies, and not knowing that you have to have a well balance. You know what I mean? Just like how the captain was bringing up before, you can't just be a heavyweight lifter without doing calisthenics. That's why there's such things called hybrid workout. People who combine both workouts, who lift heavy and does calisthenics, is very important for us to do. So when it comes to eating foods, we all understand that the food that we eat is genetically modified. So at this point, you're just picking your poison. But you still need certain meats in order for you to drive, in order for your body to drive and become stronger. Just like you need fruits and vegetables in order for your body to be healthy and clean. So they both serve a purpose and a balance. It just takes your due diligence and research and your faith. That's another thing. It takes your faith in order for you to take up this diet and the law that that Captain Shamak is bringing up, because this is very important. This is very important. A lot of us, we don't do our research. You know what I mean? So
No. Well said, and that's a great point. Great point. All right. Go ahead. Dang. Okay, is there any way you could blow that up even more? All right. You mind scrolling down? All right, yo, Barack, you mind reading that? Right there, yup. No, right there.
Full screen too.
I don't know how to do that. Oh, right there, dang. Actually. All right.
It says, what is a cow's cud and how do cows chew their cud? It all goes back to the fact that dairy cows are ruminants, meaning that part of their stomach, the rumen, is a large fermentation vat. It contains bacteria that digest cow's feed and convert it into energy and protein. Here's how it works. While the fibrous feed, like hay, is good for cows, they have to break it down quite a bit so the rumen bacteria can digest it. When the cow first eats her feed, she chews it just enough to moisten and swallow it. Then the bacteria in the first section of her stomach, the rumen, get to work softening the feed and fiber. This softened food is called the cud and is sent back up to the cow's mouth where it is rechewed before going back down into her stomach to be fully digested. Chewing cud produces saliva, which is important for controlling rumen acidity. Too much acid hinders the growth and function of the rumen bacteria, especially those that digest fiber. Cows need to be comfortable and relaxed to chew their cud and usually lie down to do it. They can lie down for very long periods of time, not to sleep, but just to chew their cud. Health benefits of chewing cud. Cud-chewing cows are generally healthier. With a well-functioning rumen, cows will digest more of their diet and produce more milk. That's why farmers pay close attention to whether or not the cows chew their cud And some have even installed monitors to help them keep an eye on their herds cut during the activity.
Right, because there's certain ways that when you eat plants, when you eat hay, when you eat like your body or the cow's body or the gorilla's body or these herbivores' body, they're made special. You were made to be omnivores, which means to eat meat and plants and vegetables and things of that nature. They have certain special qualities within their guts in order to help them break down certain things. Go ahead.
Also, this is a great topic that you touched on too. And what you said earlier too was heavy too as well. When you said you're not coming at anybody or bashing anybody, because both sides serve their purposes for a season. And so in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, the Lord talks about having a time, a place, and a season, and both sides place a perfect season to how your body's feeling. And that also needs to be highlighted. It's a lot. This is a great class lesson that you're bringing out.
All praise to the Most High. So they have those things. Which they can break down on a much better level. You have things in your body, like I said, that the Most High put in place in order for you to break down things, and He gave you the end of both spectrums and what's going to happen, the warnings, right, of what can happen to your body, right? And there's a lot of testimonies out there for people who have been plant-based vegans who have been malnourished. Nobody ever talks about that. Everybody always talks about how people who eat meat are unhealthy and all types of stuff. You are unhealthy too. You're not even in what the Most High allows you to intended for you to have, which is balance, right? But you see whatever's cloven-footed, whatever part of the hoof, and whatever tooth the cud is clean for us to eat. Go ahead. Yes.
Verse 4. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you.
That's clear as day. He cheweth the cud, but he does not part of the hoof. So don't even look at eating a camel. Why would you want to even eat a camel? Go ahead.
And the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean to you. Right. Verse 6. And the hare, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof.
Now people be going off because they make rabbit soup. You want to make rabbit soup? They're related to rodents. Oh shit! Go ahead.
Verse 7. And the swine, though he does
what?
And the swine.
You know what video I want, man? It's a real brief video on side effects from eating swine. I said it too early.
You were expressing that bias. Might see a worm or two.
What? They're infested with parasites and worms.
Real quick, I wanted to add to Howie.
Go ahead.
I wanted to add why you think grass-fed cattle is priced higher. I believe in like 2017, a lot of farmers got exposed for feeding their cattle Skittles. Because in 2012 there was a surge. There was a surge in corn. You shouldn't be feeding a cow. The cud was given. The cud was given because the cattle had to graze on grass. But a cheaper alternative, they started giving them processed corn and later Skittles. You look this up. They were feeding the cattle Skittles, yo. That's a cheaper alternative.
I think it was one that told me this, but I heard somebody telling me when they went to like DR or something, they were wondering why the cows were so much skinnier over there. And somebody from the DR was like, because in America, everything's steroid.
Yeah.
So the cows aren't supposed to be.
Yeah. That you can barely walk.
That's why I said you're basically picking your poison.
Right.
Because you can't just say, I'm just only for veggies. Even the veggies are genetically modified. You can't just say for fruits. We have seedless grapes, seedless watermelon. You know what I'm saying? We got seedless bananas. How the hell we have a seed? You can't say just for fruits. And you just can't say it for meats. Because even that's tainted and genetically modified too as well. So it's like, you have to pick your poison, you have to be careful, and you have to have it well balanced. You can't just choose for one side.
Right. That's 100%. Let's play that video up and up.
He needs to be healthy. You have to spend a lot of money.
This is the Fair Use and Copyright Act. Copyright law states that fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, or research, is not an infringement of copyright.
Pork is the name for the meat of a domestic pig. It is the most commonly consumed meat worldwide. Not only various religions, but science also has number of reasons from stopping you to eat pork. First, let's see what various religions say about pork. As for Islam,
like 30
pork is
seconds
forbidden due to impurities. To Islam, Judaism, modern human beings are less accepting to religious views, and often ask for evidence and proofs. So let's take into consideration the scientific opinion about pork. Pig is an unclean animal. It is a scavenger that will eat almost anything it comes across. This includes not only bugs, insects, and whatever leftover scraps they find laying around, but also their own feces, as well as the dead carcasses of sick animals, including their own young, thus consuming many kinds of toxins. Unlike other animals, the pig's body does not filter out toxins and stores them in its fatty tissues ready for human consumption. In developed nations, pork liver is the top food-based transmitter of hepatitis C, a virus that infects 20 million people each year and can lead to acute illness, enlarged liver, and sometimes liver failure and death. Pork meat is too much fattier and cholesterol high. The swine flu is another virus that has made the leap from pig to human. Influenza or flu viruses can be directly transmitted from pigs to humans. There has been a long-term link with the roundworm and pork, causing trichinosis, which causes fever, pain, diarrhea, and vomiting. Transmission of this parasite is through eating muscle tissue of undercooked infected pork. The parasite can live in the intestines of humans, passing through to other organs via the bloodstream, causing a host of conditions. Pigs carry many viruses and parasites with them. Whether by coming in direct contact with them through farms or by eating their meat, pigs are primary carriers of Neosolium tapeworm, hepatitis C virus, porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome, Nipah virus, mononcle virus, viruses in the family Paramyxoviridae. Each of these parasites and viruses can lead to serious health problems that can last for years to come. Pig farming is carried out in unhealthy and unhygienic conditions. Anything farmed in such an environment is bad for you. Well, my final thoughts are that what you eat is up to you, but I advise you to stay away from pork, as the reasons discussed here are just a tip of the iceberg. Until next time, bye-bye.
So, swine is a filthy animal. It's loaded with parasites. It's disgusting. It eats its own feces, dead carcasses, eats anything. That's pretty much straightforward. All right, come on.
Verse 7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. Of their carcasses shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. Verse 9. Then shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters and the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
Apaya, I'm sending you a clip. Not a clip. Select it. I'm sending you an article real fast. So we can understand. You could pull that article up. Nothing. Right, you could be some kind of new. So it says, of the waters, these shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, and seas in the rivers, them shall ye eat. Now, I want to highlight something, right? Why do you think that ponds and lakes haven't been mentioned?
That's a dirtier type of water, like more amphibians and reptiles.
Syrian?
So ponds and lakes, like they're a dirtier type of water.
How do you know?
Huh?
How do you know?
Because it lacks salt, right? Yeah, it lacks salt.
How does the ocean clean itself?
Salt.
It has plants in the ocean, seaweed, yes. What about rivers? No, they do. They have a filtration system, right? Rivers, they run off waters, they run into the what? And then they also run into the what? Ocean. Rivers run into oceans. Yeah. But lakes and ponds, do they have any of those things? They don't.
It's just cold surface.
It's just a big bowl of water that's just been sitting there not moving.
Gorge.
So I just wanted to highlight that. All right, go ahead.
Says fish scales have a variety of functions ranging from protection to aquadynamics. However, not all fishes have scales according to verse aquatics. The male catfish, rather than scales, has bony plates to protect his body. So it says the scales on the body of fish overlap like shingles on the roof, according to verse aquatics. They create rings much like those in the trunk of a tree, which provides scientists with a way of determining the age of a fish. A fish's environment can be dangerous and full of predators, pests, and sharp objects that can cause the fish injury. According to Microscopy UK, the scales of a fish provide a form of armor plating to protect it from injury.
But keep going down. Protection, right there. Go to protection.
So the scales of the fish are not the final layer of protection on the body of a fish. The scales are covered by a layer of slime called epithelial layer. This adds an extra layer of protection to the scales of the body beneath.
Keep going down.
Since fish scales have very much for the same reasons we humans have skin. Scales and skin keep the insides of the fish on the inside, but more importantly, they protect fish against a variety of threats. Think of fish scales like a very flexible armor. Its first defense is to protect the fish's underlying structures such as nerves, blood, vessels, and bodily organs. Scales are made from incredibly thin pieces of bone. Some fish sport scales with rounded edges, while others have a defensive spiky shape. These sometimes transparent bony flakes emerge directly from the inner layer of skin or dermis. Like our own fingernails, the tough little scales grow out of specific individual pockets in the dermis and also grow by adding to the outside edges. In this way, the growth of the scale can also tell the approximate age of the fish, much like the rings of a tree. Just as our skin protects us from harmful things in our environment, an epidermis or thin outer layer of skin also covers the scales of the fish. This outermost layer of protection contains tiny glands that produce that slippery mucus when we touch a fish. That mucus is more important than simply helping the fish slip out of a predator's grasp. It shields the fish against bacteria, pollutants, and harmful substances in the environment.
So that's the reason why we're supposed to eat fish with scales, because it protects from bacteria, pollutants, toxins, and things of that nature. Now, of course, your enemy, he knows that too, so he loaded what? The ocean with mercury. There's a lot of mercury in fish and things of that nature, but that's the reason why you're to eat fish that has fish and scales. Anything that has fish and scales, fully grown, because tuna has immature scales. Their scales aren't fully grown, therefore they're not. You can't eat fish with immature scales, right? So it has to be fully grown scales, right? They go into different scales. I think the celluloid, and I don't know. You can look all that up on your own time. But there's scales that are fully grown and there's scales that are partially grown. No, the whole fish has to be covered in scales that are fully grown. Okay, and also have fins. Pull up that clip, Apayat, that I sent you with the fish fins. Real quick clip. That's pretty much the majority of the diet. We're gonna get the file real quick. We're gonna be stopping at the locust, which is like, and then we'll probably do a part 2.
Verse 9 from the top.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Play the video. Because I got the scales. I just want to show everybody the fins. So they won't be like, Captain Shemap said, what? We can't, he said we can eat this. No, I showed you. You know what I'm saying? I showed you.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Amazing Animal Adventures, and today I'm going to be going over basic fins on a fish. Now, what I have here is a red-breasted sunfish, and the fins I'm going to be going over, and the terminology is going to apply to pretty much the majority of your fish. It's going to apply to sharks as well. Of course, there are exceptions, such as lamprey and fish that are really oddly shaped. They are going to have exceptions, but the majority of fish are going to have the same terminology and same fins, in fact. So I'm going to just start with basic terminology on the fins themselves. We'll start here. This is your pectoral fin, where it's one of those on each side. We have a dorsal fin. Now, this particular species has one long fin. Some species will have 2 fins, but this one has 1 long. We have pelvic fin. There are also 2 of these, 1 on each side. We have anal fin over here, and caudal fin, or tail fin. Please keep in mind that this is not a fin, this is your gill flap. So under there are your gills, not a fin. So now I'm going to go over basic uses of the fins. So your pectoral fin and your caudal fin are going to be the ones most used for swimming, for propulsion and that kind of stuff. Your dorsal fin, anal fin are going to be used mostly for stabilization. keeping the fish straight. Your pelvic fins are also going to be used for stabilization. And in some species, they can serve a role in reproduction, but that's not for all. That's kind of that. It just depends, species to species. One thing I'd like to point out, just a little side note, is the lateral line.
That's good.
Now this allows the fish to pick up the vibrations in the water.
So you have fins and scales. You see the purpose of why the Most High said what He said, and you also have the visual. Okay, go ahead, bro.
Verse 9, these shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters and in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. All, and all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. Verse 11, they shall be even an abomination unto you. You shall not eat of their flesh, but you shall have their carcasses an abomination. Verse 12, whatsoever hath no fins nor scales in the waters, he, that shall be an abomination unto you. Verse 13, and these are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls.
It's the birds.
They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle, and the ossifish, and the osprey, and the vulture, and the kite after his kind, every raven after his kind, and the owl, and the nighthawk, and the cuckoo, and the hawk after his kind, and the little owl, and the cormorant, and the great owl, and the swan, and the pelican, and the gyre eagle, and the stork, the heron after a kind, and the lapwing, and the bat.
So you can eat chicken, you can eat turkey. Go ahead.
Verse 20, all fowls that creep going upon all four shall be an abomination unto you.
Those are examples of fowls you can eat. Go ahead.
Yet these may ye eat of every flying, creeping thing that goeth upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap with all upon the earth. Even these of them ye may eat. The locust after its kind.
Pull the article on the locust. We're gonna wrap it up here though. I'll probably do a part 2 to this class. It's a locust and honey. But nah, it got mad nutritional benefits. Go ahead.
Locusts are a type of insect from the family Acrididae, and also known as grasshoppers. Locusts swarm in huge numbers and can travel great distances, causing considerable damage to crops. However, in many African, Middle Eastern, and Asian countries, locusts are considered a delicacy and eaten in abundance. Locusts are an excellent source of protein and contain a variety of fatty acids and minerals.
That's crazy.
Although not considered palatable by most Americans, locusts are an important food source in many other countries.
That's all you have to read. So, yeah, so we're going to stop right there. Does anybody have any questions on right here? Does anybody have any questions on the verses that we just read or what we went over prior to that? Go ahead.
I have a question on the sea moss. Is that?
No, that's good. You can, it's something. Yeah. That's something that has 92 or I believe 96 of the 104 essential minerals that just to sustain human. But once you do more research, it's something you could take every day, but you know, when you do research, you know, a lot of people took it during times where it was hard for them to reproduce, in a time when your body, like, they basically didn't take it all year round. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? There was times, the seasons where you did take it, the seasons where you didn't take it. Anybody else have any questions? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is because the seed of it, like the seed, can you grow sea moss or?
Yes, you can grow sea moss. Yeah. They're able to what you call it? To extract the sea moss and allow it to reproduce. You can look that up actually.
The enzyme over it?
Yeah. But naturally, I don't know if any seeds like that you can grow and plant. But I know, like,
I don't know a lot of seed plants that you make actually plant.
Right.
It's naturally ocean.
Be careful with the sea moss people
That's what
are selling too, because
Oh, yeah.
a lot of sea moss have been proven to be grown in people's pools. You can look that up too.
That's crazy. But is there any more questions on the Leviticus, what we went over so far? Just the verses that we went over.
Is eating giraffe lawful?
Yeah.
No. You can?
What do you want giraffe?
Giraffe.
Giraffe is not on the list of. Remember I used to post that in the chat? It's not.
I'm still debating.
It's just that you just won't go after it.
Neither is a horse.
No, but the horse don't put up part of the hood. No part of the hood.
The giraffe, I'm telling you.
I mean, you probably can.
You just won't kill it. You just can't.
All you gotta do is look it up because you got the what's it called? You got the ramifications to let you know what you're getting eat. But I never even thought about that.
Yeah, nobody thinks of fucking man.
Oh, let me see what that is.
Remember I used to put jokes in the chat like that? Grass, trees.
Trees, it's vegetables. It's herbivore.
Let me see.
Fruits and veggies.
That's part of it.
It's just that
Let's see.
it's unlikely for you.
Let me see. We're gonna see if the giraffe. I got the hoof, but we're gonna see if it chews the cut.
Hold up. You're not gonna actually go out there giraffe.
Hold on, we about to see.
I said so far that the hooves.
It does split the hoof. It does see the cut.
I used to put jokes in the chat that I would eat a giraffe.
I'm not gonna eat one on that side.
It's gonna be hard for you to obtain one, nigga. It's gonna be hard. They're gonna kick the shit out of you.
You gotta pick for fat or meat, you know.
Let's take us out, Barack.
Amadi Mupani Mapudum. Psalm chapter 119, this is my young. Oh, how I love thy law, it is my meditation all the day. Now through thy commandments has made me wiser than mine enemies, for they are ever with me. I have more understanding than all my teachers, for thy testimonies are my meditation. I understand more than all the ancients, because I keep thy precepts. I have refrained my feet from every evil way, that I might keep thy word. I have not departed from thy judgments, for thou hast taught me. How sweet are thy words unto my taste, yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth. Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. In the name of YHWH, SHAMI, Aman.
Abad Shabbat. Abad Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahshua
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua.
Strength, I've been patient and I'm waiting through the wiles of the devil. devil. I've been battling with Satan. I said, letter to my sons, give you something that'll bless your soul. Patience is a virtue, value close, and it's next to gold. Plan to reach the hoods that's close to us, even Mexico. If you take this oath, it ain't no flaking, we gon' step for show.